While deportations have increased slightly, the voluntary departures have more than doubled.
Question number 9, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Conservation. When was he first informed by the Department of Conservation that they were considering contributing to any submission on the Tukituki Catchment Proposal that might include nitrogen and phosphorous management?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the first full briefing on Tukituki was on the 5th of March, and it confirmed the Department's role in the process and mentioned nitrogen and phosphorus management. The paper was very positive on the project, saying it offered significant environmental and economic benefits. Let me quote directly what they said. Any increased and regulated low flow level for the Tukituki River would mitigate the dry conditions, low flows which affect native fish and in-stream biota. Water quality would be improved in the entire catchment. If the member read that report, she would understand why I was surprised at the content of the leaked draft submission that had a very different view on the effects of the project. This confirms that there were differing views within the department on the Tukituki project.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Why did he tell the House, in answer to a primary question on 24th of September, that he was first informed of the submission on 29 July, when his weekly report of 20th of May stated, and I quote, "Further work is needed to determine the content of any Crown submission. DOC has some concerns with the novel scientific approach for dealing with nitrogen and phosphorus and how this is translated into the plan provisions."
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, very easily, because the member only half quotes. What it said was that was in respect of the option of a Crown submission. Subsequently, Cabinet made a decision not to proceed with a Crown submission. What I'd also draw to the attention of the Minister, to the member, is that the former report said that DOC was very positive about the project. The member can't half-quote and needs to consider all the information.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Why did he tell the House repeatedly that the first he was aware that DOC was preparing a submission was on 29 July, when his weekly report on 17 June stated, and I quote, "At this stage, it may be that DOC is the only agency that will make a submission"?
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the member half quotes again. Yes, you do. Let me see what the report on the 17th of June it says. DOC may make a submission. May. That doesn't say they're going to make a submission. The first report where DOC confirmed they were going to make a submission was in the weekly report on the 29th of July.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Why did he tell the House repeatedly that he asked DOC to see their submission on 29 July, when his weekly report of 24 June stated, as an action point from his 17th of June meeting, quote, "Any DOC submission on this proposal needs to be okayed by the Minister prior to it being submitted"?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the word any says it all. When they say any DOC submission would need to come to my office, that makes plain that at time they had not decided either that they would make a submission or what would be in that submission.
Supplementary question, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Why did he have Nicky Wagner ask a patsy question on 26 September in order for him to say that senior management had, and I quote, "not even read the submission prior to 29 July, when, as he stated in written question number 13184, quote, "senior managers made amendments to or comments on the draft submission"?
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the reason the member's question was so useful was because members opposite selectively just ask for some of the information. And it's important, if you're going to make a judgment, for all of the information. For instance, can I quote the exact information from DOC's Deputy General? And she said of me, I did not play any role in her decision-making, that she made the decision about the submission, she did not know my view and that I never saw the leaked draft submission. The members opposite are effectively saying that Doris Johnson wasn't telling the truth. It's members opposite that are not telling the truth.
Order, 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 order.
Mr Speaker, I was actually going to raise a different point of order, but do you consider the answer that Nick Smith gave an order?
Order. The accusation that the members opposite are not telling the truth is completely unparliamentary. The member will stand, withdraw and apologise.
Mr Speaker, I withdraw and apologise.
Point of order, Grant Robertson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. In the Minister's primary answer, he quoted from an official document dated the 5th of March. He's required to table that.
Order. Is the member quoting from an official document?
No, Mr Speaker, I was going to seek leave anyway to table the official report I received on the 5th of March, albeit it has been released under the Official Information Act.
It will be tabled. It's been asked for. It's an official document.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Point of order. In answer to my last supplementary, the Minister repeated comments in relation to the Deputy Director General's quotes. They were entirely irrelevant, actually, interesting though they may be, to my question I asked about the question from Nicky Wagner and Nick Smith's denial of senior management's knowledge of the submission.
I've heard quite sufficient. Again, I invite the member to go back and look at the tone of the way she asked the question. It was likely that it gave great liberty to the Minister to then answer the question. Question number...
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Is this a fresh point of order or in any way challenge a ruling I've just given?
Seeking clarification, Mr Speaker.
No, points of order are not to be raised for points of clarification. The member was unhappy with the answer. I accept that. That happens frequently. The member asked a question referring to a question asked by Nicky Wagner. It was a patsy question. That gave liberty to the Minister to respond quite liberally. Supplementary question, Te Urara Flavel.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister, does the Minister think that the Ruataniwha Dam promoted by the Hawke's Bay Regional Council will solve the problem of low summer flows in the Tukituki River? And is that a problem not caused by the Regional Council allocating more water for irrigation that the river can provide?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, it is certainly true that in that catchment and in a number of others, water management historically has resulted in over-allocation. And that is why the good work of my colleague Amy Adams, and previously by myself with a national policy statement on water management, seeks to put in place a stronger framework to prevent that sort of over-allocation of water.
Question number 10.
Speaker.
Hesata Sam Lottawinga.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Health. What progress